Hello and welcome to Prima's seminar on business intelligence. Today we will cover topics related to Power BI, Microsoft Azure Synapse, and other platforms and tools related to data warehousing and business data collection. This seminar will be recorded, so if you cannot be here until the end or you want to review it later, then every participant will receive link to the recording of this seminar. It will usually take about approximately 48 hours for this link to become live. I think it's worth it to review it probably later on. And why we're talking about these data collection is that it's very hard to convince your business partners in any kind of business decision or way to make business unless you have data proving it. And it's becoming harder and harder to find that data and present that data because the amount of different systems that companies use to collect data and manage business processes, the amount of those systems is increasing. And we need the data as fast as possible. The best reporting usually is related to financial reporting, but as you know, financial reporting is usually a month late, and you need systems to collect performance data as people are doing their everyday activities, doing their sales work or doing the technical some work. We need to collect that data so that we can improve our processes and make our business more transparent to decision makers so that they can make the right decisions at the right time and make those rapidly. As you know, we are living in a time when situation is changing every minute, and often you may have to make business decisions very fast. And that's what we are talking today about. Before we go to this seminar, technical part, I will talk a little bit about Primend or Primend. Then I will give an overview what are the platform tools that Microsoft provides for business intelligence. And then we will also look at those tools and how you can use those tools. I have to warn you that I cannot go very deep, so it's not a deep technical dive today, but more like an overview, because within 1 hour we cannot do this deep technical dive. And if you have any questions at the end of the seminar, I will also show you my contact information. So if you have any further questions, you can ask them later on, or you can also ask questions during the seminar. There is a discussion box on your user interface. From there, you can ask those questions. Okay, but some words about Primend, why we are here. So the main reason that Primend does business is that we want to help people to make the businesses more efficient, more effective, and this is how we do business. So we are concentrating on business decision makers in the organization, either marketing or personnel or whatever. We help them to make the everyday lives easier by helping them collect data to make the IT systems more reliable. And that's why we are here. And we like to do things a bit different. And by different, I mean that we are not afraid to take into use new solutions and try out new stuff. Sometimes it ends in some kind of trouble because, if you are exploring new lands, you don't know what can happen. But we truly believe in cooperations and doing things together. And I think that cooperating tightly with our customer investing into our customer business, then we can overcome all the problem and make changes that matter and improve your businesses. And the result, I think, would be that we all can take flight and move faster. So this is how we approach our business and how we approach all the projects that we make at Primand. And in addition to those everyday business stuff, we also invest into our communities. So this year we made an investment into research in Ida-Viru Central Hospital, where we help rehabilitation of stroke patients so that their rehabilitation process could take place at home, not at hospital, and they needed tablets to educate those people at home how to take care of those stroke patients. And we hope that this research into family support will improve lives of stroke patients and the families of those patients. And last year we also participated in preparing for a rally event here. So we, together with SynLab, we created a reporting solution so that teams could see all the PCR test results for their team members. And the event went well, and we are quite proud of that solution from how fast we could put it up, and also the security features related to that reporting solutions. And last year also, when COVID pandemic started, we put a lot of effort into training our customers in using remote work solutions. Microsoft has a very nice product called Microsoft Teams, but its implementation in many customer accounts was not very rapid because it was a new way to do stuff, and people didn't often have experience with remote work. And we did a lot of trainings at our customers. Many of those we did for free, and we also made a lot of different seminars on how to use Teams in different scenarios, and they are available on our Estonian webpage and Latvian webpage. And we're also starting to prepare the same kind of videos for Lithuanian webpage. And we are also updating those web pages as we go, because Teams is in rapid development, and some interface features have changed since last year. And one of the more interesting features that also concerns today's seminar is that Microsoft will put Power BI button as a default app in Microsoft Teams. So we will start seeing a Power BI button in Teams very soon. This is a very good change, because often people cannot find the reports for some reason. And if you have this Power BI button right in Teams, then it's a little bit easier. So we see ourselves currently as an international company doing local business in Baltics. So we would like to think, as we are mostly an infrastructure business, we cannot do a remote customer support very well. So we are trying to be local at every market that we are present, and our home market is Baltics. Here we have about 90 employees in Baltic region, and we are one of the better certified Microsoft partners in the region. So we have a lot of different gold competencies in Microsoft partner program. That means that our employees are very well certified. They have went through trainings and also exams. And also we have customer references in every of those fields. So this is how I approach you like to learn new stuff and implement this new stuff at customers. And we also are training or continually training our employees so that they are good in IT and know how to implement all this new stuff. And these competence areas, main competence areas of Primend are Teams and remote work. I think this is one of the most important things right now for obvious reasons. And connected to it is an intranet solution that we have created called Tableau Intranet, and it's a solution for keeping people in touch with the company. We are seeing that a lot of companies who have went into this remote work scenarios, they have trouble keeping the employees in a loop and to keep them as a motivated single team. And we think that Tableau Intranet solution is the thing that they can use to keep people in that team and keep motivated, and also give a constant overview of what's happening in the organization. And we are doing a lot of work also in security side. We are seeing this security business growing as companies are implementing more remote work solutions. So it's it's like an attack surface for bad people has grown. So it's like more opportunities for attacks. So we are investing also growing our security business to help our customers to keep their data secure, to keep their business processes stable. And this is a very important and growing field. Today we will talk about right now. And we also have IT services, that's like a user support side. We cannot do without it, and it's one of our largest departments because although IT has become a lot easier lately, no one needs any support with phones nowadays, which is like the main IT device very often in private lives. But corporate systems are still quite complex, and they are not getting any easier. People need support there. So this is a very important support side we are offering. And also we are supporting Azure cloud solutions. There are like thousands of services in Azure. It's very rapidly growing segment as new and new solutions are being implemented. And to keep this cloud infrastructure running and understanding how it's like how to provision it, how to monitor it, how to manage costs in Azure. These are stuff that we are very good at and can help our customers. And I myself am a Microsoft certified data specialist, so I have certifications in data engineering and analysis exam programs. And my first Microsoft exam was in 1998, so I am like more than 20 years Microsoft certified now, so makes me feel old. Okay, but let's go to today's subject now. I have shown that slide several times, and today I will not go deep into that talk about different like devices. It's more about services side here. You'll see all those cloud services. If you look at any customer nowadays, any organization, then they are using probably more than 10 different cloud services. At first, it may not be apparent that you are using it, but if you start monitoring your web traffic, then you see that people are using like different search engines and different other services. So like they are using it through company then servers, then it's like company usage. And also it's very easy to take new service into use on web. It used to be so that when you wanted to take a new application into use, you had to make a project plan and then make a request for information, and then you had requests for proposals, and then you had analysis phase, and then you had implementation phase. And every software that you implemented, the implementation time was at least 6 months. Nowadays, if you want to implement a new software, it usually means that you open Google Play Store or Apple App Store and search for an application that you think might suit you, and then you just install it. And when you like it, you show it to your colleagues, and basically after that, it's implemented in organization. So it has gone from like half a year of implementation time to a couple of days. So, and to stay on top of all that information that's being collected, companies need to build new systems that collect data from those cloud services and integrate this data into their reporting systems. And companies want to do it with less cost, very rapidly, because as you implement those software solutions very rapidly, you also want reporting from those systems to start flowing rapidly. And in this COVID situation, with remote work becoming more and more popular, you want to get rid of paper processes, because if people are not in office, those paper processes don't work very well. And you have to keep those secure. In all Microsoft solutions I will talk about today, there's like already integrated user management, and in many of those you have also monitoring solutions and auditing solutions integrated. So you don't have to worry about that part of solution creation, and you just can start using those solutions, and all the security side is taken care of by Microsoft. And if you want to review it, you have like tools from Microsoft side to review your security settings. And the main reason why you need to improve your reporting is, of course, this COVID situation we have right now, because you have to move rapidly, understand your data, and be able to make changes to your business processes as soon as possible. A multitude of services has resulted in multitude of data formats you have to work with. Power BI supports a lot of different data formats. There are not all data formats are available here on this slide. There are also like Amazon database formats and others here, but these are like most commonly used. Of course, we have SQL Server as a data source available here. We have Excel tables, which Excel is certainly still the most popular analysis tool. So every person who starts doing any kind of analysis, first tool they use is Excel, and then they move from there on. And with the web services, if those web services are older ones, you have an XML API that you have to work with, and newer web services usually have some JSON API. So Power BI has support for all those scenarios. And there are some scenarios, complex scenarios, where you need to integrate data from different sources. You need to do incremental updates. In those scenarios, there are scenarios where Power BI capabilities are not enough, and there we can improve or extend Power BI capabilities over Azure services, and we know how to do it. So we have experienced almost any scenario you can think of. It's just how difficult or how much work is the integration process, but we can nowadays integrate almost anything. And on top of those data collection integrations in Microsoft Power Platform, there are like additional products on top of Power BI, or that extend Power BI functionality is like Power Apps for rapidly creating applications, and there's a Power Automate for automating business workflows. You have hundreds of different connectors to hundreds of different services for automation purposes, so that you can collect data from those services as new events happen, or you can write to those services when you need to update some information, some data lines in those data sources. So, and you have those connectors in Power BI, Power Automate, and Power Apps, and you have the same connectors, mostly the same. There may be some differences, but you have the same connectors also in Logic App in Azure side or on Azure side. And what's the main difference between Power Platform connectors and Logic App connectors is that Logic App connectors, you can extend very easily those connectors, where it's very easy to build your own connectors. If you have a Swagger file for a web service available, then it's just configuring the service and importing Swagger file, and you can start using those connections. And I'm already talking in how Azure and Power Platform work together. They are quite tightly integrated, so you can prepare data in Azure Synapse, which is a data warehouse product from Microsoft side. You can import data, clean it up, and present to Power BI. And Power BI is a visualization solution. If you don't have very large data sets, you can import all that data directly to Power BI. But sometimes data sets are very huge. You need to do those calculations and data cleansing in the background. And there is where Azure Synapse is very good. You can implement different kinds of workflows, load data into databases or load data into CSV files, or even you can, or Parquet files. You can present the data as files. You can present this data as SQL tables, and you can and get data to Power BI from those already cleansed up systems. And what are the products? So on Azure side and Power App side, Power Platform side. On Power Platform side, you have Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agents, and Power BI. I'm today not talking about Power Virtual Agents because this language support there for Baltic region is not very good yet. So I would wait a little bit. Maybe Microsoft will improve local language support there. And then those bot services will become more valuable. But we have implemented a lot of Power Apps and Power Automate, Power BI solutions, and these products are ready to rapidly develop your business processes, to build support for new business processes, and build support for reporting of those business processes. And they are very easy to take into use. All those products are very similar from interface side to existing Microsoft products. So if you have experience with Excel, Power BI shouldn't be hard for you to take into use, but you can go in deep. You can code your solutions, and if you still need more coding and more custom interface to your systems, then you can take into use Azure services, starting from API management. For example, you can build your own API from some legacy systems. You can build a complete function that you can call out and does specific data jobs. You can use Kubernetes service to run your virtual machines or your business logic. and logic apps if this business logic is easily implemented, and so on and so forth. So, and we are using also lately cognitive services for AI with AI APIs and so on. And and here on this lowest level, there's like Synapse Analytics and SQL. So these are like services where you can keep your data, but also manage it. For example, this Azure Synapse, it is a integrated. It has an integrated user interface where you can manage your different workflows and data sets and also Power BI reports and also do master data management, etc. And one maybe important difference from developer perspective between those Power Platform products and Azure products is that in the Azure products, as this management of those products is or development is done by in Visual Studio or VS Code, then it has also better this versioning support. So all those Power Platform products, they are mostly geared towards end users who do one version of the solution and use it. But if you need a work, there's like this life cycle of a product, and you see that you need to develop it in different versions and do version updates and everything, then I would suggest using those Pro tools. There you can implement processes where you have a development system, a testing system, production system, etc. All those Power Platform products that I'm told about are very well integrated. You can start flows from Power BI reports. You can integrate Power BI reports into Power Apps, and you can also put Power Apps in Power BI reports. For a long time, it was so that if people ask me, Thomas, do you know, can we make changes to data directly from Power BI report? Then I had to say, sorry guys, you cannot make any changes in data from Power BI reports directly. Now Power BI reports have capability of integrating Power App forms in Power BI reports, and you can also connect your data to those Power Apps and make changes to data directly from your Power BI reports. And the same is on Power Automate. For example, you want to initiate some workflow straight from your Power BI report. Now you can put a button into your Power BI report, and based on your data selections that you make in or filters that you use in Power BI report, based on those filters, you can run these Power Automate workflows that take into account the filters you have used. For example, you need to send a report to sales manager based on some customer. You just select that customer from your report, send push, and this sales manager receives a report that's filtered down to that specific customer. So this like opens up a lot of new workflows that you can use in Power Platform. But enough of slides. Let's go to actual products and see what those products look like. So I will start with Power BI, and the question very often people ask me is that how much does Power BI cost? And the easy answer, or the answer that I usually have to give, is that it depends, because if you open Microsoft Store, I will open it. Yeah. So hopefully you have used that application. So here I can search for Power BI, and you see there's a Power BI desktop. If you open this Power BI, it's a application that shows you only reports. So if you want to create those reports, you need Power BI Desktop. And I have Power BI Desktop already installed. And if you want to try out Power BI and start using Power BI, I suggest you use this store interface, because if you load Power BI, this installation media from any other source, you cannot be sure that it's up to date. Power BI has a lot of changes, like almost every month. Just last week, a new update came out. And if you try to open a new Power BI report file using old Power BI installation, it will not open. But Microsoft Store application will keep your Power BI desktop application up to date all the time, and you don't have to worry that your application is out of date. And as you see, it's for free. It doesn't ask you for any money. You just can go and open it. It opens in another window, so I can close that one. So, and this is how Power BI looks when it's open. So you can just start accessing data straight from this start screen. You can get data, and you have multitude of different sources that you can use. So you can use file sources, you can use databases, as I said. So you have like Oracle here, IBM, MySQL, Postgre. I think whatever you can think of nowadays of as a database that's still well supported, then it's probably available here. And you can also use this Power Platform database services and different Azure services, starting from Azure SQL database and etc. And also like blob storages and so on. But to show you this import process, I will just import a very small CSV file from my own computer, because this is probably the scenario that you are starting with when you are starting to use Power BI. So I will just go and open a products table. It's a very short table. It doesn't have any transactions, so I cannot currently create any complex reports. But anyhow, I can start import, and I have a option to load it or to transform data. What I usually do is transform data, because I have to check that all the formats are correct. If you are in United States, for example, then very often you don't have to worry about it, because the formats you are working with are like United States format, and your computer is United States format, and your these reports consumers are also have the same format. But in our region, every country around us has different formats. So you have to take that into account and go through formats first to be sure that those formats work well. And I know that here there is a problem with formats. So it says that it changed types already. So it says that it applied those types. Automatically, it understood that those product ID was integers. This product name was text, and so on. But it didn't understand about this unit price, because it has dots as separator. But in this our local format, we have commas. So here we have to apply this change type with locale, and here we can say that it's a decimal number, and format is United States. And when I press OK, then it understands it. Okay, it's a decimal, it's not a text. So I think other stuff is okay. So we can now go and save and apply. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, for some reason it doesn't understand the borders. I remember that I have to close that Power BI, this PowerPoint. So many power words in Microsoft product range. PowerPoint, so that borders are well. So now we see here this product table, and we can start building our this report. Let's say product name, and let's take product unit price that we just changed. Okay, we see that unit price, maybe we want to have it in euros. Let's say it is currency and it's euro, and now it looks better. So this is how you very easily can build Power BI report. There are additional sections here for joining different tables if you have like we need to import, for example, tracking transactions or some other categories. Then you can import those and connect those data tables from here. But I will not go into deep right now. As I said, in our current today's time frame, we don't have much time for going deep. And now that we have our Power BI report, and we think that, oh, I want to start updating it automatically. I need to configure automatic update, or I want to view that report from my mobile phone. Then I publish it to Power BI service, and it requires me to save it. So let's do save products, and let's say it's products demo. Let's save it, and now I can save it. And as I told you, this Power BI desktop application is for free. And now if I publish it to my workspace, if when I'm using Power BI free, I already have this Power BI workspace. I can publish it to my free workspace. And this part I'm showing you right now is also free. You don't have to pay for that. So let's go. And now I have that same report in Power BI. And I can, if I want to edit it, I can edit straight from this Power BI web service. I can say that maybe I want this replaced by bar chart or something. For example, it doesn't look nice. Okay, let's do it this way. Okay, maybe that's better. Doesn't make any sense with products, of course, but I can do it straight from this web interface, and I can also take here and start a new table and use maybe stock levels and have also the table for stock levels. So it's very easy to save those reports, and then I can save it and maybe mobile layout, as I told you about mobile phones. So I can say that I will put it here from mobile phone, how I want it to look like a mobile phone. It doesn't look very nice right now because it's just I haven't made any changes to those visuals. You can make those look very nice, and this is how it looks. And when I save it, it will be the same. And the stuff I created right now, it's for free. And now we're going to the part where people ask, what does that Power BI Pro mean? Power BI Pro means that in Pro, if you have this Pro license, it's €8.40 per user, means that you can share your reports with your colleagues, and you can view those shared reports. That means that all the sharing functionality where you start collaborating with your colleagues, you get more value from your reports. This is where you have to start paying for Power BI. And in addition to this cooperation, you get access to security features like you can set filters which users see what data. That means that you can create one report for your whole organization, but based on your based on that, in which department person is, you can filter which department data the person sees. For example, I cannot show you this. Am I logged in? Yes, I'm logged in. Why don't I see any apps? Okay, it was some strange stuff right now. Now I see my apps, and for example, I have here a financial report per department. And I can say that, for example, and assign different people to different departments and publish one report. And based on that, what department person is in, they can only see one report site. So for example, if there's a like services people person, they can see only this part of report. Or if there is like some other department people person, they can only see that report. And based on that, we can like personalize that report. And very often people ask, okay, I have this report, I have all the very nice looking data, and how do I publish it so that people don't have to go to Power BI? Then the first way is to use this Power BI app, as I'm showing you right now. This is like a app within Power BI. Then you have an opportunity. If I go to this workspace where this report was, let me see if I can find you that report. This was, which one was it? Maybe this one. So this is the report, and from here I can share it to my colleagues, or I can also get this sharing link. Or was it? Oh my, I have embedding group. Yeah. So if you want to embed the same report in SharePoint site, you just take this link, copy it, and on SharePoint side, you say that put on that, like you choose this web component on SharePoint side that will host your Power BI report, and you just copy that link over, and you can embed that same report in your SharePoint on your this internet page, so that people actually don't have to come to Power BI. They can see directly from the internet page. Okay, and another thing that this Pro license enables is use of those workspaces. When you create teams, groups, you can create a Power BI workspace for every teams group and assign those teams groups as users of those Power BI reports, and this way integrate those teams and Power BI reports. It used to be so that when you created a Power BI, when you created this teams group, then Power BI automatically created a group also here, but it created a lot of groups that didn't have any Power BI reports inside. So Power BI changed the logic so that you have to create a workspace from Power BI side, and then you can assign this to this teams group. So this has changed the logic so that you won't have empty Power BI workspaces. But here we have some workspaces that are empty because our Power BI environment was created so long ago, so we have some legacy workspaces here. What's more, as I said, you can integrate it into Teams. You have the Teams button very soon in your Power BI report. Sorry, you have Power BI button in your Teams interface. And if you look at this Power BI, you see that you have you can see the most used those reports you have. You can see all the data sets that you have access to and start building reports. And you also have apps that company has published. And I have to explain that app logic a little bit. The thing with apps is that, for example, you have a workspace where your analysts create some kind of application. And this is where they work with the data, do some like those maintenance reports and everything. They have their one like main report, and then they have maybe 10 maintenance reports there. And they don't want to share all those maintenance reports with colleagues, only that main report. Then you can go to that workspace you have and say that, what are the reports that I want to include in that app? And then you can create this app and make that app available to your colleagues, and then colleagues see only those reports that are meant for them. So those you can have data sets that's shared between different reports, like one for end users and reports for maintenance. They use the same data set, but you only publish a report for end user, and on this app side, users don't see data sets, and this is like this data consumption side. But they still can interact with the report. They can interact with those visual filters. They can interact with filters that are like traditional filters, and they can also set filters from filter pane. So in that sense, it's quite good. And I want to show you also the functionality that I told you about integrating those Power Apps data entry forms on Power BI reports. Here, for example, we have a report on pre-manned vacations of who is on vacation right now, and if I look at like current situation, then I see that, hey, it's like 21st of October. Seems that no one is on vacation. Oh, yeah, still some guys who are. But if I say that, okay, there's like no one is on vacation here, and I want to go to vacation, maybe I should like go and open this vacation app and make my vacation request. So here I can log in as an employee, and I see how many vacation days I have left this year, and start my vacation request, so that and this vacation request will go to my manager, who has to accept it. And when manager has accepted it, then I can go to vacation, and it will be logged in system and will be visible in reports. So this is how you can add these Power App applications into Power BI workflows. Okay, but this was Power BI side, and there's a lot of services also on Azure side, but the main service I want to talk to you about is Azure Synapse Analytics. This is a solution that Microsoft calls a studio. That means that it integrates a lot of different other existing services, like a data factory, data flow, SQL Server, Azure Spark, PatchSpark, those libraries and everything. And here you can create your data integration workflows. You can manage those, see what's happening there, and also it has integrated security with Active Directory, so you can manage all your security access to data through security groups, the same as in any other system. So, for example, if you have some data files in your blob storage, you can manage the accesses to your blob storage through Active Directory and say what managed groups can access that data. And even if you publish those tables, or like let's say Parquet files, let's be like direct these Parquet files because it's the most efficient way to store data warehouse data nowadays. If you publish those Parquet files through SQL Server, then SQL Server takes this these user accounts into consideration. And if you have access to those source files, you will see those reports. If you don't have access to those source files, you are not in that group who has rights to see those source files, then you don't you cannot open those SQL tables. So it's a very nice method of managing user accesses through organization. And how does this Synapse Studio look like? Let's go and look at that one. So I will, yeah, it's an Azure service. It looks like the logo nice is here. So if I open it, okay, it's doesn't like some settings here. And here I can manage all the security and accesses and what kind of SQL services I have attached to that Synapse Studio. And when I open it, it has a very nice integrated environment where I can see all the data sources. For example, I have here databases which are like SQL databases with external tables. For example, here is like the access to that same CSV file I showed to you. So it's like defined as an external table. It's not actually in SQL Server, but I can still use the same SQL language to access it. So I have also Spark database here if I need to do some big data analysis, and I also see all those different blob storages, data lake storage with my source data and also cleaned up data, so I can manage it, how it looks like, what kind of storage it is on. If it's like archive data, I can put it on the slow storage. And here I can also see integration data sets I have created. So this is like definitions of those data files that I want to use in my reporting. And also data flows. This is how I clean up my data. This is very nice. You can do all those cleanup procedures using visual tools. In the background, all the things that are running are Apache Spark. So it's a like open source platform. And if you have Apache Spark code to do the same stuff and you want to implement it in this Azure Synapse, you can create this a workbook here and or notebook, sorry, not notebook, and just paste it here and it should work. And but it's better to see what's happening with the data and what are the steps in cleaning up your data. Here I have this like workflow for today's seminar only, and it's very short. Usually it's very long, and if you have that cleanup procedure in code. If you are very advanced programmer, it's understandable to you. But if you want to like do some work with a workflow that has been created by someone else, or you have to come back to your work a year later when you don't remember anymore about that specific workflow, then it's easier to do it in this visual tool. And you can integrate different data files, data flows, notebooks, SQL scripts. You can all integrate all those in pipelines. So if I look at that pipeline, it's just easy right now. It's just copy some file, but I can add here like different additional services and apply those in order and create reporting based on outcomes and whether it succeeded or not. And if you have, when you have created those pipelines, you have a reporting section where you can see the pipeline runs. I haven't run anything. Maybe I should do some debug. Sorry, debug doesn't log there. I will like trigger now. Let's see. I don't have any parameters. Let's trigger it now. It's running now, and it should show here in reporting now that it's running. So, and you have a log of previous runs. You can also see what it has done to data. There is no data on that stuff yet because I just started it. But if you need to troubleshoot, you can get overview from here, and you also can send those create those workflows that you can send those failure reports to email. So, but the thing why I think you should consider Synapse is that if your workflows are a little bit more complex than just taking data and presenting it on Power BI dashboard, then it's easier to manage that data and maintain data and integrate in Synapse than it is to do it in Power BI. But it's only in case that you have huge data sources and many data sources, and you need to manage lifecycle. But we have found that it's easier, even for some smaller data sources, to do it in Synapse because it's better manageability. Okay, so I think you got an overview of what is Power BI, what is Synapse, what tools Microsoft has in its portfolio to support your business processes. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to write me, and we will find a way to help you. We can help you with licensing. We can help you with building workflows. We can help you with building reports and also automating business processes. So we have, and as you saw from previous slides, we have very well educated and certified people. So you can be sure that the service you get is top-notch. Thank you, guys. Did we have any questions? I'll have a look at my this Teams questions spot. We don't seem to have any questions, so I think I was so very clear with all the information I relayed. Anyhow, thank you, guys, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. So thank you for now, and bye, and see you soon.